knowledge. I think it's the limitation of human knowledge which cannot approach, cannot reach to the level of that higher entity. Now, the next part of my paper. Schopenhauer seems to have, as I have mentioned, that Schopenhauer preferred the Vedantic form of idealism. So Schopenhauer seems to have preferred the Upanishadic form of idealism over German idealism. In the Upanishadic idealism, Brahman is the only reality and the world is merely an illusion or appearance. German idealism, led by Immanuel Kant, on the other hand, was a movement of thoughts about the difference between things in themselves and appearances. Although he, Schopenhauer, criticized Kant for being failed to have a consistent theory of knowledge, his own philosophy, Schopenhauer's philosophy of the sensory world as representation and the non-sensory world as the will, is rooted in Kant's distinction of the phenomenal from the nominal. Influenced by the philosophies of his contemporaries, Schopenhauer, however, found the Upanishads greatly interesting because of their intellectual contribution in distinguishing appearances from the absolute reality and the higher knowledge that reveals the absolute truth from the lower knowledge that seems to be revealing truth about the material world. So what Schopenhauer thinks is great in the Upanishads is the distinction made by the Upanishads between appearance and reality, and higher knowledge and lower knowledge. Now one can imagine that the higher knowledge includes some components or elements of spirituality or something that can be related to mysticism, but that is a different subject matter for discussion. My point here is that Schopenhauer clearly mentioned it that the Upanishads are great in making such distinctions between the real and the non-real, and between the higher knowledge, paravidya, and lower knowledge, aparavidya. This led Schopenhauer to go on admiring the Upanishadic wisdom for helping him formulating his own philosophy. And here is a text in German. It says, da ist, wenn es nichts zu stolze Klänge, behaupte mocht, dass jeder von den Einzelnen und abgerissen Aussprüchen, welche die Upanishaden ausmachen, das als Vollgesagte aus dem von mir mit zu heilenden Gedanken ableiten leise, obgleich keineswegs auch umgekehrt diese schon dort zu finden ist. I'm sorry if my German is not so well, but I tried to, I thought to quote this because it makes a sense to my paper, and here is the English translation. This is the wording of Schopenhauer, the great German philosopher. I might express the opinion that each one of the individual and disconnected aphorisms which make up the Upanishads may be deduced as a consequence from the thought I am going to impart. Though the converse, that my thought is to be found in the Upanishads, is by no means the case. So he made it clear that he is going to implant, borrow these philosophical thoughts from the Upanishads, and he tried to implant in his philosophy.